What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sehatha, the Blind Seer, all-purpose oracle, medium at large, and prognosticator extraordinaire. Here to break you off today with another round of the random reading series. You guys really seem to enjoy these videos. I really have a lot of fun doing them. I really liked the idea when I came up with it. I haven't seen anyone else doing it, and I think it's so cool that you guys are as excited about this as I am. And I want to take a minute before we get started just to thank all of you again so much for the readings that you've bought and the donations that you've sent. And I know I sound like a broken record, and I hate like asking for money in every video, and I don't want to do that, but I'm gonna, because I depend on that. Like, this is my only job, and I can't do it without you guys, without the readings that you buy, without the donations that you send. I would have to get a real job, and that would suck for everybody. And right now, this is the coolest job that anyone could ever ask for. I've spent my entire life studying occultism and magic, and now I get to make a living using that passion, and that thing that I've studied my entire life is now what I do. And you can't ask for more than that. I get to use the magic that I've studied for my entire life to help people I'll never meet in places that I'll never go to, and it's phenomenal, guys. It's not lost on me at all that is an amazing position that I am fortunate enough to be in, and it is entirely because of you guys. So thank you for that so much from the bottom of my heart, and please keep it going. I know I sound like a broken record asking for money all the time, but that is what makes this possible. And the reason I feel like the last random readings video I did a really good job on, and that was entirely because you guys took away all the stress that I had about other things, and I was able to focus on just doing a good job at this. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to try to keep that same energy this time. Hopefully we can have another good week like we did last week. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle. If there's anything that you guys want to come up in the random readings, if there's any information that you need, try to focus on your initials or any numbers that you've been seeing. Right now, while the cards are all randomized, is the time to be getting your energy into them. Alright, collapse the waveform back down to its singular function. Polarize the deck. Same steps that we always do. Recreating the beginnings of the universe. It's actually the beginning of everything in manifestation. It all goes through that same pattern of energy. So we're just capturing that primal source energy in symbolic ritual so that we can work with it here and get the best reading that we can for everybody involved, which is why now we go for the pendulum. Split the deck. Just like always, begins with a choice, and since I can't choose for you, we're going to let the universe do it. So what we want here is whatever reading will be the most beneficial for my audience, for my business, for myself, and for everyone involved. To the left, it looks like. All right. Now let's find out who this first reading is for. 7. So if you have the number 7 coming up a lot for you, 7 represents the sphere of thoughts. That could be something that you're wondering about, some information that you're lacking, some anxieties that you're having, some nagging thoughts that you're ignoring, or just something that you're really puzzled about and constantly trying to work through in your mind. 7 usually shows up when your mental energy is very, very high. So if you're seeing the number 7 a lot, that could be it. This reading is definitely for you. Or if you have the initials G, P, or Y, the same ones that come up in literally every random readings video I've done, G, P, Y, or the number 7, you are usually right up there in the mix, and this one is for you. So we have the Chariot inverted. Your journey has halted for the moment. You're not making progress. You're not moving forward. You feel like maybe you're kind of stuck. You have the Four of Wands, and that feeling of being stuck is causing you to withhold your energy, sort of reserve your spirit, and keep to yourself a little bit. Maybe tame your passions and just sort of waiting it out and seeing whether you're going to start moving again. So let's see what your next card is and find out what we can do. We have the King of Wands inverted. So the reason things aren't moving forward for you, G, P, or Y, is because you're at the end. Not that things have reached their conclusion necessarily. You're at the end, but it isn't over yet. The conclusion, from what I'm seeing here, there's a lot of wand energy, so there's a lot of fire, which puts you, I feel, in a position of power, G, P, Y, or the number 7. Right now you're withholding that energy, and you feel like you're going to have to go in for this big battle, but I'm afraid that it's going to be kind of anticlimactic. You're never going to get that big conflagration that you're looking for. You're not going to need to get all fired up. You're not going to need to explode and be all fire and fury, because things have already come to their conclusion. You won without ever having to actually fight. So take the win. I know maybe you feel like you earned the fight, even. You feel like you deserved your wrathfulness, and maybe you're right. But in the end, that's not going to make anything better, and a win is still a win. You know, it may hurt your pride a little bit, but I've always said if you put pride in a sack, it's worth the sack. So, you know, don't let your anger and emotions get in the way of this, because you're already in a position of power and you've already won, G, P, or Y, or the number 7. So there's not going to be the big battle that you're gearing up for, but the good news is you won without having to try. So I think that's about all I can do for this one. We're going to move on to the next reading. If you're hoping that'll be you right now, it's a good chance to focus on your initials or any numbers that you have coming up. See if maybe that's the next one that I roll. And here we go. We have the number 6. Yep, number 6. So 6 represents the sphere Tifereth on the Tree of Life in the Kabbalah, and that's the sphere of ideal existence, of dreams, of inspiration, of imagination, of the perfect version of whatever energy that you hope to manifest. That's where it exists, as in Tifereth. So if you're kind of daydreaming a lot, if you're thinking about things that get your imagination fired up, or maybe dreaming about the world that you want to live in, the future that you want to build for yourself, if you're thinking about things that might be possible motivations for you, you might start seeing the number 6 come up a lot. Now, if you have the initials F, O, or X, or you're seeing the number 6, or you resonate strongly with that, you or anyone in your life, then this next reading is for you. We have the Knight of Swords. Your mental energy is on the rise, maybe a little anxiety, maybe a little tension. We got the Knight of Wands inverted. So, as your mental energy is rising, your passion and your spiritual energy is falling. So maybe, I don't know, I'm going to need another card on this before I start digging in. So we have Temperance inverted. Alright, so what I'm getting here is most likely an argument. Probably something in a relationship, F, O, or X, or the number 6. Your mental energy is on the rise, which means maybe you feel outraged, offended, defensive even. But your passion and spiritual energy are dropping off, and the two knights so close together in opposing positions kind of makes me feel like there's some conflict, maybe in a relationship or something like that, an argument, some kind of conflict, and you lost your temper, F, O, or X, or the number 6, and that lack of control is something that you're going to have to address. Whatever the situation is, whatever the argument was about, you know that you lost your temper. You know that you weren't in control. You were not the master of your passions and of your fire, and you were not tempering your responses. So maybe you need to apologize. I mean, I don't know the situation. I'm just reading what these 3 cards say in front of me. But, you know, if this is right, if there was some kind of thing that happened where you lost your temper, even if you were in the right, the moment that you lost control, you still kind of had something to apologize for. So maybe that's a good first step in towards resolving whatever this was about to begin with. If you take the step to apologize for your lack of control and your outburst, maybe they'll take the extra initiative to apologize for whatever it was that started it in the first place. So F, O, or X, try to get a handle on your emotions. I know that's not the easiest thing in the world to do for a lot of reasons, for a lot of people, but you know, if you feel like you lost your temper and like maybe you did something that you should apologize for, then work on that. You know, the best apology is changed behavior, otherwise it's just words. We're going to move on to the next one and try to do as many of these as I can get into this video. Having some storage space issues, which is why I'm pushing the donations and the readings so hard. I really need a computer, guys. I cannot keep doing this on my phone. It's really limiting what I can put out. I'm only able to shoot 10 or 15 minute videos unless I delete a bunch of stuff off. So really need to upgrade the equipment, guys. Be thinking about your initials or any numbers that have been coming up for you if you want to get your energy in for the next reading. We're about to throw the dice and see who we're going to read for. So 4. 4 is that pressure valve sphere that I talk about all the time. It's sort of a holding area where there are obstacles and setbacks, but they're not temporary. They're not meant to turn you off of the path. They're meant to hold you in place while you build up energy to make the rest of the journey. So if you feel like things are kind of standing still, if you feel like you're not going anywhere and not making any progress, you might start seeing the number 4 a lot. And if you have that, this reading is for you. Or if you have the initials D, M, or V, the number 4, the letters D, M, or V, this reading is for you. So we have the 7 of Pentacles inverted, some anxiety about financial situations, career, living arrangements, that's things in the physical mundane world. Maybe something as simple as just food. You know, the mundane physical survival type things that we all have to deal with. You're having some anxiety about that. D, M, V, or the number 4. You're worried that you're not going to be able to make ends meet. You have the 9 of Cups, and that represents like subconscious feelings. So you have this nagging sense that things just aren't quite enough to get through, and that's a position that we've all found ourselves in from time to time. It's kind of where I live all the time, but that's why I'm doing this, to try to improve my situation. If you guys knew how far below the poverty line I am, I eat once a day. Like, no joke. I am beyond poor. But that's beside the point. I do honestly feel for you, D, M, V, or the number 4. I know this position well and the stress that it causes. You have the Hanged Man inverted. So what I get from that is your worries are kind of unfounded. You're going to get through just fine. Things are going to work out. I know that's what everybody says, and I get so furious when I hear it, so I can't imagine. But you're not going to suffer the way that you think you are. The Hanged Man represents painful lessons, and inverted, it means that there isn't going to be any suffering. There's not going to be a punishment for this. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna be okay, and try to be a little more careful next time. Maybe if you feel like maybe you messed up, if you feel like you've got reason to worry, then the only thing you can do is try not to give yourself a reason to worry in the future. But from what I see here in the cards, even though you're concerned that your finances aren't going to be enough to get you through, and subconsciously you're having a lot of nagging doubts about your stability right now, you're going to be okay. And I'm not going to promise you that, because I didn't say it. That's what the cards are telling me. So you can put as much faith in that as you put in anything in the universe, because that's who's giving you the message. I'm just passing it along. So number 4, D, M, or V. Things may seem tight right now. It may seem like things aren't going to go well. This actually is very similar to what I was picking up on in the weekly reading that I posted on my Facebook page. So if you want to check that out, you might get a little more insight there. But I promise you, from what I see in the cards, everything is going to be okay. So I hope that helps. I hope that takes a little pressure off. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here with a general reading. Yeah, I've got the weekly reading up on my Facebook page if you guys want to check that out. I do those every Sunday. It's a combination of runes, lunar astrology, and tarot, and it sort of blends the overall energies of the week into like a spiritual weather report, so you can kind of get an idea of what to expect. So I really put a lot of work into those. I hope you'll check it out if you don't already. Try to give different content on all the different platforms, so that you're not just seeing the same stuff in every place if you go to all my different accounts. So we'll wrap this up with a quick general reading. We have the 8 of Cups. So having a lot of emotions right now, my general audience. Everybody is kind of feeling their feels at the moment. With this full moon coming up, that's really not surprising. That usually brings it out in people. And this one being in Virgo, it's going to be a really personally significant one for everybody, because it's about your individual energy and your sort of unbound spirit, and it's going to be affecting you in those areas of yourself. So you're going to be very much in your emotions and very aware of your feelings, so that you can analyze them and figure out what you need to change or what lessons you need to work on going forward into the dark moon phase. We have the moon inverted. Wow, that is so crazy. I was just talking about the full moon. So all of these feelings and stuff, I think I'm going to need another card. Actually, the moon inverted, that kind of threw me. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups right now. So the reason all these feelings are coming up is it's not the normal sort of emotional processing that you need to do here. This is normally the moon represents the intuitive feminine aspect of your energy, like the softer emotional intelligence side, but with it being inverted and next to the 8 of Cups, which is such a strong emotional card, what I'm getting here is this is more about analyzing your emotions than feeling your feelings. So you're going to have to really take stock of your emotional energy, my dear audience, and figure out what it is that's causing you to feel the way that you feel so often, and where those feelings are coming from, and maybe what you can do if you don't like the way that you feel to make changes so that you can reach that joy and emotional fulfillment and that primal essence of what your feelings really are, and represented here by the Ace of Cups. This card, it's about stripping away everything that isn't your true feelings. It's about authenticity. It's about genuineness and honesty, and really being open about what your emotions are. And that's where you're trying to get to, everybody, in the energy that's going on here. Your emotional energy is very high because you're supposed to be picking it apart and seeing what it's feeding on, where it's coming from, how it's wired. You're supposed to be analyzing and learning from it, not just overwhelmed by it. So try not to let it get the best of you guys. I know that can be hard. That's something I struggle with a lot. So I almost feel like a hypocrite telling you guys that, but that's the best advice that I can give for this, is try to analyze your emotions instead of being overwhelmed by them. Try to learn what you can from your feelings about the world that you experience and what they're trying to tell you about that. And do your best to get rid of everything that doesn't belong and everything that isn't you, everything that isn't necessary for your joy. Just strip it away, and the more authentic and the more genuine you can be as you, the happier you'll be, I promise you. That's why I am this weird looking crazy magic guy who makes tarot videos and stuff for a living, because this is my best life. This is my truth. This is who I am on the inside, and this is the most genuine portrayal of me that I can put forth to the world. And that's what you need to do too. This is the only way that you're going to be happy, is the only way that I'm going to be happy, and that's if you live as who you really are on the inside. And I think that's a great message to end this video on. Be true to yourselves, guys. Be honest about your feelings. You're not helping anybody. I know a lot of times we don't want to say things that we feel because we feel like it'll hurt somebody we care about. Maybe by swallowing our own feelings, we're protecting somebody from something or whatever. But we're really just not doing anyone any favors that way, because we're just making ourselves miserable, and that makes everyone who cares about us miserable. It's better to be honest, to acknowledge those feelings, and to have those uncomfortable conversations, even when you don't want to. It might be unpleasant at first, but what comes after will be better. So be honest, be true to yourself, be open, talk about your feelings, just do the best you can to be the most authentic version of you that there is. And I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for buying readings, for the donations, for everything that you guys do to make this possible. I could not do this without you, and this is the best version of my life, and it's an honor that you guys have made it possible for me to do this. This is a position I've always wanted to be in, where I can use these things that I've devoted my entire life to help everybody that I can. And I could not do that without the financial support and all the love that you guys give. So thank you so much for that. Please please hit the like button if you enjoyed this or any of my videos. Subscribe. I put out new content every couple of days. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter at Real Blind Seer, Blind Seer Official on Instagram. There's links to everything down in the description. Throw a couple of bucks to my PayPal, buy a reading from me. Anything that you guys can do to help keep this going, I really, really appreciate it. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I really, really hope that you'll tune in next time.